What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Higher Purpose Podcast, episode 25.
Yo, what's going on? Chris? Yo, this is Brandon Petta. Chris, how we doing, bro?
It's been a little bit, so I'm feeling a little rusty here on the whole podcast thing.
Dude, no worries at all. Yeah, me and Chris had a little month hiatus there. We've things have been kind of moving. Summertime's here, a lot of moving parts, but hey, we're making it work. We're back in the lab.
Yeah, we're happy to be here today. It's been a long time coming.
Hell yeah! No, I've been missing the pod gang, and shout out to all the dads out there. Happy Father's Day.
Absolutely, happy Father's Day, everyone. You guys rock. You're the goats.
You guys rock. But all right, brother. Yo, so today's pod episode, me and Chris decided we wanted to do it on accepting where we are in time, like accepting where you are while staying committed to where you are going. And I think that this topic is like amazing because I think that we could, like everyone could use a little bit more like patience and almost like an approach of like a mindset of like peace of like where they are, like where they're at in life.
Right.
Because it's like, obviously we love to grind and work towards like our goals, but it's like if you're only ever satisfied when you hit that one goal you had, that's a shit ton of time that you're just like extremely distressed and like not like happy and enjoying life and just like totally like missing out on life.
Right. The journey is a dream too.
Yeah.
I live by that. So it's like the process of actually getting there. So enjoying each moment and understand like every baby step is a victory too. But yeah, I think it's super important that you're happy with who you are and what you're doing in every current moment. Because I mean, at the end of the day, life's not guaranteed, but also having that clear vision of where you're going will help you, like you said, find peace, because you know you're not where you're at and where you want to be right now, but you should be happy with what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you should be doing things that are ultimately leading towards that vision.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like there's a point in time that we were like that where we are right now, like we were hyped to get to.
Right.
Like we're at episode 25 of the podcast right now. Like before, when we were just like chopping it up in the garage about like even starting one, like those versions of us would be like they'd be like hyped. Like to be where we are now and like and the work that we've created up until this point in time.
Absolutely.
And so it's just like, and we're always gonna be wanting and trying to get to the next level constantly. But the thing is, what we're learning and experiencing right now is what's gonna make those later moments so much better and greater.
Right.
That's why we have to get as much as we can. The only life that we can possibly live is right now. Like this is literally
This is the only thing we can control.
This is the only thing that can be controlled.
It's almost like the gym. It's like you'll never be, and that's what they always say, like once, like the moment you're in the gym is like the moment you're hooked, because you're never satisfied with where you're at. So you're always going to be wanting more.
Yeah.
Even when you get to what you think is the end goal, like you're going to want more.
Yeah.
So you can't live life always looking forward to that next step.
Yeah.
You have to be present in the moment, enjoying exactly where you're at, and that might not mean that, like, it might not be something you're like extremely proud of, but if you're in that moment and you're making the action or taking action towards like putting the steps in place and the plans to get where you want to go, you should be hyped for yourself because you have a clear and direct vision of where you're going.
Yeah, 100%.
If that makes sense.
No, dude, 1,000,000%. We just like, you have to have faith and trust that what you are doing is getting you one step closer to each and every day, and then by the end of the day, like once you've done your best and you like, then you can be fulfilled and at peace by the end of the day. At the end of the day, knowing that you did literally everything you could to get yourself one step closer of where you want to be with whatever you are committed to in the time.
Right.
But so that's one thing that also that can help alleviate a lot of stress and anxiety when people aren't when they're not satisfied about where they are at the moment in time. If you're constantly doing your very best each and every day, then there's literally nothing that you could be upset about when you go to bed at night. And the thing is, doing your best is relative, because you can't be better than your best every single day.
Right.
Like you have a best. Each day is different. Your best is going to be different for each day.
Right.
So just make sure you're doing the best for that specific day.
And I think this topic can even like be broken down. Like it could be physical goals, it could be financial goals, business goals. So I think this is honestly not accepting where you are might be the biggest like cause of failure, because if you can't accept like the present moment and understanding that like you're on this journey, it's like people always want to see the results overnight. Like they're always looking at that end where you're gonna be, but they're not looking at the journey. And they just want that immediate satisfaction or gratification of like, even like someone getting out of college, you're like, oh, I'm just gonna make 6 figures because I went and got my degree. But it doesn't quite work like that. Like, but what you can do is accept where you're at in the present moment. Maybe, you know, first job out of college and not being like exactly where you want to be, but you're putting in the steps to get that promotion, you're working on a side hustle, whatever it might be, that will ultimately take you to that 6-figure goal income. Or maybe you're working on weight loss and you're like, want to lose 50, 60 pounds and all you can think about is that dream body and you're hating yourself in the moment. You're going to miss out on happiness in this moment because all you can think about is the end. But like you said, if you're making steps that take at your weight loss goals, you're here, you're doing cardio, you're, you know, watching what you eat, like that's a victory, and celebrate that victory. And ultimately, those baby steps add up.
Yeah, dude, and it's actually funny. One of my a podcast I listen to is called the Aubrey Marcus podcast. This dude Aubrey Marcus, I love this guy. He's the founder of On It, this like health supplement company. But he was asked the question of like what he would like tell his like younger self, like what his advice would be, and he said like on multiple occasions, the advice that he would give himself would be to enjoy it more and laugh more and smile more, because we can all just be like, and I'm guilty of this as well. Like you're just like so fearful of making sure like it's gonna work out, right? And you're stressed so much because you're fucking doing everything in your power to make it work, and it's almost like you get to points that you're like forcing it, but like just trust and have faith that you're doing everything right. And enjoy the hell out of this time. Like I
think even for us like, as business owners and running our own business like that, it's super scary because like there's no right or wrong answer, you know? Like it's so it's like you never know. There's no handbook that says like this is how you should do it.
Exactly.
And no one telling you what to do. So it does become very almost like in your head, like, am I doing things right?
Am I doing enough?
Am I doing enough? I mean, I'm constantly questioning, like, am I doing enough? Am I working hard enough? Can I do this better? Can I do that? And of course, like, there's only so many hours in the day, but I think constantly reminding myself of the importance of being happy and making time for like the social life, the laugh, the memories, smiling more. It's sometimes so hard in the moment, but and I feel like, for me at least, that's where like gratitude comes in, and something that I'm always practicing. I'm always looking around the gym and I'm just thinking to myself like, I'm so grateful, and that seems to alleviate my stress because now I'm present. I'm like, listen, I don't think this is not where I want to be, but I'm really grateful for where we're at. And there's more to come, and
no, dude, I couldn't agree more. And it's so funny too, because like it's like about, I mean, it's pretty much summer. It's the 19th. It'll be like in 2 days, but like we've
solstice, baby.
We've been looking forward to like summer for like we're talking about summer so much, like in winter time, like in the springtime, like we were talking about it forever. Like it's gonna be so sick when summer's here, and now it's like summer's here, and now it's time to enjoy the fucking summer. How shitty, and this is what happens with so many people, but like they're so excited, they're talking about summer, and then it's been hot for like a couple weeks, and then people are so like, I'm excited for that fall weather, excited for that fall weather, or even like us, like if it came to business, like how shitty would it be? We've been looking forward to like summer and enjoying like the club and doing what we have to do business wise. It would be so shitty and a shame to be like, all right, like all about like the fall and like planning on everything, the plans and the steps that are happening in the fall. It's like yeah, like it's good to have like a template, an idea, I guess, of what you can do. Like, but we're in the summer now. We're just at the start of the summer. Like, let's fucking just enjoy this. Like, let's enjoy like what we have going on right now. Like there was literally us in the dark, cold, like who would have give
trenches,
the trenches would have give anything to be at this point in time, at this time of year.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like, what a fucking shame it would be.
And that's what, I mean, I know this summer, like I've come to terms, like I'm gonna enjoy the hell out of it.
Yeah.
I'm 24, I mean, how is it, 24, 25?
Yeah, 24.
24, yeah, we're 24. So it's like, I'm gonna enjoy it, and obviously, like, that's gonna sacrifice some of the work that I put in on the business, but I'm always thinking too, like, and this is like a thing about being happy with where you're at, like, life is not guaranteed. So to spend, 24/7 in this office doing work, of course I could do more, but then I'm missing out on everything else. So I think it's so important to take that step back.
Yeah.
Too.
And it's actually funny. I saw me and my family. We saw Jerry Seinfeld, like a live comedy show once, and he had like a skit on everyone is trying to everyone is trying to move and get to the next place. Like when you're, like for example, like you're on a trip or something. Like you're, like I don't know, like you're on a holiday, you're on a vacation somewhere, but then like it's over. It's like, all right, it's time to get to the airport, and then like you're at the airport, and then you're waiting, and it's like then it's time to get into the car, and then it's time to get like at home, and then when you're at home, like you don't really want to be sitting at home for a while, so like you go out to and like walk around the street. Like everyone is just, his skit essentially was just like everyone is just fiending to get to that next place, but like constantly, and it's just like that's like fucking insanity. It's literally like crazy to think that like everyone is always on the move to get to the next place, as if the next place is going to be so much fucking better than where you're at right now. And I don't even know if you've ever noticed this, but me and Billy actually had a conversation about this. Like when you go out, for example, like Saratoga, and like you see a bunch of people. It seems like everyone, but it seems like everyone is like, maybe this is just fucking me, like maybe this is having no self-awareness, like everyone is just like talking really quick, but then there's like ready to get to the next conversation. Yeah. And it's almost like everyone is just trying to make fucking rounds to each and it's like, but it's so funny because it's like is that one gonna be like that much fucking
dude? That's the complete opposite. Listen to this. The complete opposite happened to me last night. We're at Beer Garden. I'm sitting at the head of this table. I have 3 of my cousins there, all their friends. And they're all lined down the sides. I'm at the head. I'm drinking a non-alcoholic beer, and the music's pretty loud. They're all talking, and I'm just smiling. Yeah. And they're like, "Why are you smiling?" They're like, "You just been sitting there smiling." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just having a good time. I'm taking this in." Like, my cousins are. I have family in town. It's like, I'm enjoying the moment. Yeah. And everyone thought that was fucking weird. Yeah. Everyone thought that was weird. They're like, "Why are you sitting?" Yes. And I feel like even last weekend, it's like we going to Saratoga with Billy, and it was just sitting and having a conversation, like it's nice amidst all this fucking craziness going on. It's like, I don't know, I feel like as I've gotten older, I've become aware of like every moment. Rather than like the day, the week, it's like each moment and making the most of it and like really being present, because life becomes so much more, I want to say like deeper when you have appreciation for every moment, like every conversation, the conversation we're having right now, a conversation with a client, like that's how life becomes deeper. And like when you can really enjoy that, like I said, it's just everything feels better. Yeah. And it's so funny too that you said like, why are you sitting there smiling? Like why are you I thought about this a ton of times. We should never ever have to explain why you're smiling. Ever. You should never, ever have to explain like why you're happy or smiling. That should always be the default state. That should always be the default state. Right. And it's a fucking shame if people don't think otherwise. Right. Do you know what I'm saying? How would you ever have to explain yourself to why you were just happy and content? That's where everyone's trying to be. That's a programming thing, though. I feel like so many people are programmed to be like miserable. Oh, they are. Yeah, 100%. Miserable, down, 100%. Stressed, worried, and it's like if you can rewire your brain to always think positive, then life becomes positive. It's law of attraction. Like there's so many little like tricks and secrets that could diverge all over the place, but it's like
there's a spiritual teacher, Eckhart Tolle too, and he's said on many occasions, like, if you're not experiencing joy, stillness, and ease in this moment, then you're not in this moment. Your mind is somewhere else.
Oh.
Your mind is either thinking about the past or worried about the future.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not experiencing those three things, then you're not here. And like, ask yourself, am I experiencing like this right now? And if you're not, then it's a signal that you have to bring it back. So use it as a signal to bring yourself back.
What do you think gets you hung up more, the past or the future? In your head. This is like
future.
Future.
I just like am always envisioning the future, and I have to just get a rein on it and just bring myself back. I genuinely don't. I used to have an issue thinking about the past a lot and getting anxiety thinking about the past, but it's much more about worried about the future than anxiety of the past.
I think it used to be the past for me.
Yeah.
And now I think it's the future.
Yeah.
I think it's a weird age too. I mean, 24, and you know, and then there's a lot that happens over the next 5 to 10 years. And,
for sure.
And you're setting yourself up for the rest of your life. So I feel like I definitely the future has become more of like a forefront for me.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
I think if you can really be confident too in where you're going, which I think we are.
Yeah.
Like, it's so crystal clear. And you know that the steps are, like we were talking about earlier, like we know that what we're doing today is ultimately going to get us there.
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like sometimes that alleviates my stress because like, fuck it, like I know what I'm doing and like I'll get there.
Yeah, I think that you can use it as to guide your direction, right? Like when I think about the future, like I can think about the vision like that I want to see myself in the life I'm living, and so that can guide me now. But it has to be a brief glimpse. I can't live there. I can't live there because I gotta take care of fucking business right now, and I can drive myself, and I can miss things now. If I'm thinking about it too much, then I can miss great things happening right now, like right around me. So I have to rein it in. But it's a great motivator. It can light the fucking gas, like the fire when you need it, and it is great to guide the direction.
That's why I feel like I use that too as like a motivation thing. Factor. It's like you see it and you're like, okay, that's where I need to be.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, what can I always said, and this is a little like side story, but it's like, it's doing same. I want to like rewind back to when we were in my basement, and like looking at leases for a gym and being like, oh, like, I can't afford this. So it's like, okay, well, we know we can't do this. So it's like, what can we do with what we have? And then it's like, boom, you're at the garage. And then same thing, it's like, what can we do to make the most out of that? And then what can we, and like ultimately like making the most of today and the present and what you have will take you to where you want to go.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's something that always has reassured me. Like we've always just done what we can with what we have. And somehow, some way, things line up and like it works. So it's like make the most of what you have right now, and that's like that. Especially on the business side of things, I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, I wanna, whatever, or I want to be a famous musician. It's like, okay, well, you're not just gonna walk in there and do that. So it's like, make the most of that little 5-person show you do at some dive bar. Like enjoy the fuck out of that. And it's like even watching like Billy perform at like what's it called, Night Owl. It's like they're making the most out of that, 25-30 person venue.
Yeah.
And it's like they're fucking killing it. And then one day, when they're under like in a crowd of 40,000 people and everyone knows their name, like they'll appreciate that moment so much more.
100%.
And we talked about it that night, that it's like appreciating the little steps, appreciating the garage, like appreciating here, like every,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, dude, it's 100% right on. And the other thing, besides for me having to rein in like thinking about like the future stuff, it's just being patient. Like we just live in a society right now, everyone just needs everything right away, and social media plays a big problem with that. Well, a big contributor with that, because what happens is people see people like on these trips, or they have these bodies or whatever, and people just like, I need this now, like I need to make this money now, I need this now. And it's just like, I love when I listen to podcasts and I'm or reading books and people are talking about their stories, and they said like they did this thing, but they casually slip in like, oh, I did this for like 2 years here, or even like, yeah, and I did that for a decade. And it's like they'll slip in these little caveats of how much time fucking passed, and
Right.
it's like, it's comical because like we can just sit here and be like, God, so much has happened in this 3 months, and these people are like alluding to times in their lives that were fucking like years and years long in
Right.
certain situations, and it's like we need to start all learning how to like just slow the fuck down, be proactively patient, and just not have like unrealistic, insane expectations,
Right.
which is it's just a huge thing.
I think that's like one of the big, like you said, it's one of the biggest downfalls these days. And shoot, I don't know.
Even like just so I know, even like how sick like Legacy is, but like people will come in and be like, Chris, you should get this and this and this
Yeah.
and this, and it's like, yo, he got like, he's put all these pieces together, and now it's like, but then everyone just like needs the next thing constantly.
And I honestly, I acknowledge the fact that like, I think that what we've done in the past year has been like tremendously fast.
Yeah.
My initial like game plan, like my vision was to spend 2 years in Mark's garage. Like I thought I would be there for a full 2 years and then decide whether I was gonna make that move.
Yeah.
So the fact that we're there for about 5 months before we're like, oh shit, like we need more.
Yeah.
And even seeing now, like in the summer here, like some of the days we've been like, we might need that like more space like now.
Yeah.
Obviously really good problems to have, but it's like this pace of growth is incredibly fast, I think, for a business. Where if I spent, like I said, if I spent those 2 years at Mark's, that's still a success. That would have been a win, but it's like, you know, things take time. They really do. And a lot of these stories that you hear, like people are in the trenches for years, like, you know, hustling, figuring out ways. And like, I always say too, it's like, you know, there's no failing. It's just like finding ways that don't work. And that's so cliche, but if you do things like in a smart manner, like you could run a challenge or a program and like maybe no one signs up and it's like, okay, well that didn't work. Like you can't take that as a failure. It's just like, okay, what can I do to be better next time? And you keep throwing shit at the wall until it sticks.
Exactly.
Because eventually it will.
100%, dude. No, you're on the money.
That was funny about the equipment though, because it's
it happens all the time.
Someone said something to me yesterday, and I was like,
remember the smoothie bar comment? Yo, dude, you should get a smoothie bar
Yeah,
here.
you
It's like, are you gonna fucking run the smoothie bar?
yeah, that's why I always come back to like, are you gonna run it? Because I'm not gonna fucking. And it's like the equipment, the space, everything. It's always more.
It's always something.
And that's like the mindset these days. It's
Yeah.
like more.
Yeah.
And I'm very patient because it's like you can't be jumping the gun. You can't be doing some crazy stuff right off the bat. Like we've only been here for 6 months now, so it's like, no. And please, my heart rate just settled down a little bit
God.
from 6 months ago.
Dude, for real.
But but yeah, it's just the mindset. And I think too, like I think about my mom always used to say, like when she was back in the day, like when she needed to find something out, she rode her bike to the library, opened a book, figured it out. The instant gratification of like I can go on Google at any moment and find out anything.
Exactly.
It's like we don't have to work to earn anything. So like everyone sees that end result and they're like, fuck, I want that right now. And if you did it doesn't happen like that.
Yeah.
And to be honest, if you're watching, if you're a hard worker and you can understand what we're talking about right now, like if you can really take this in, you're gonna have such a greater chance of being successful. Because I think, especially to our high schoolers here, like they don't quite get it. And that's just this entire generation that's coming up. Like they don't understand the hustle. I think it started to fade out even in our generation. Like you don't see many people doing what we're doing. So I think that if you can really take this in and understand like making the most of every moment, being happy with where you're at and working towards that ultimate goal, like you're gonna excel in life rather than someone who's woe is me
and you're gonna be in it for way fucking longer. Honestly, dude, honestly, bro, I'm thinking about in the past, like I've been a person that has burnt out in like a fair amount of things in the past because I've been like that fucking all or nothing guy. In a lot of endeavors. I have to continuously like take care of like my fucking self-care, but like I have to like rein in the urgency that like in my expectations for so many things, because I know it's best for me since I want to be coaching and having my business and doing it for like forever. I mean, I want to be coaching and doing it for like the long haul. So I need to like make sure that I can adhere to doing this and not start resenting it because you're fucking killing yourself over it.
Overwork.
Exactly. Yeah. Like you have to enjoy it. You have to enjoy it, or else you're not gonna last.
Right.
And you might start fucking hating whatever it is that you thought you loved or whatever.
And honestly, that's something like people hear in the beginning, especially. I knew like for a season, like, hey, you're gonna have to like get this thing off the ground, so you're gonna live here.
Yeah.
And like I wanted that. And now that it's like, you know, we have the freedom to have employees and stepping away, I don't feel guilty anymore. Like not coming in on a Sunday morning, not closing on a Friday night, like going out and living my life, because I think ultimately that's just as important.
Oh, 100%.
Even, I mean, these guys know, like, I work out every morning at 6 now. Like, I don't take any clients. I tell people, like, they're like, oh, do you do anything at like 6? I go, no, I have an appointment with myself.
That's
I literally say,
time.
I have an appointment with myself.
Yeah.
Some people are taken back by that. They're like, oh, really? And I'm like, yeah, it's my time to work out.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like you have to set some boundaries too, and understand, like you said, you're in it for the long haul.
Yeah.
I saw a post today though, and it was like a graph of like kind of like how your life changes, like who you spend time with, all this, that, and other thing, and it was like saying how once you're past like age 25, the majority of time that you spend is like in your work and with people that you work with. So choose wisely. And I mean, I'm so grateful because when I read that, I was like, damn, like I'm here with Brandon, I'm here with Billy, I'm like doing fitness. I was like, this is a fucking dream. Like, I have the greatest people around me, and like if I spend the rest of my life around these guys, like I can't complain. And doing the fitness thing, so I love it.
Fuck yeah, buddy. Yo, dude, do you have anything else, bro? I think we hit, I think the biggest things, I know you like to do the main takeaways, but like, I mean, just like being more patient, proactively patient.
I like that term. Proactively patient.
Being present.
Write that down.
Never ever apologizing for smiling or thinking you ever have to explain yourself as to why you are happy or smiling. That should be the default state. Should be the default state.
Say that.
And yeah.
And other than that, I think really, guys, being present, accepting being aware of the baby steps that you're taking. But first things first, have that clear end goal vision. Like, where do you want to be? Understand that that's the direction that you're going, so the moves that you make today should be directing you there. But then, keeping that in the back of your mind, like really enjoying every day. And that can be with friends, family, like making the most of your work moves, setting those boundaries, and really just enjoying life for where you're at. And be happy whether you're overweight, whether you're broke. I don't really care, but you only get one life. Tomorrow's not guaranteed, so make the most out of today. Do not beat yourself up over anything. You're making the steps towards a better version of yourself. So,
yeah.
That being said, everybody, that's episode 25, and we're gonna catch you guys on the next one.
Peace and happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
You rock.